mga katinig, mainit at napakatindi na naging debate at palitan ng mga katanungan at argumento sa ginagawang impeachment trial sa Senado. Ang partikular na naging sentro ng atensyon ng publiko ay ang paghaharap at tagisan ng katuwiran sa pagitan ni Senator Judge Joel Villanueva at ng tagapagsalita at legal counsel ng kampo ni Vice President Sara Duterte na si Attorney Michael Poa. Ang tensyon ay nag-ugat sa dalawang magkahiwalay na mosyon na inihain ng House Prosecution Panel sa pangunguna rin ng prosecutor na si Representative Chel Diokno na naglalayong maglabas ang impeachment court ng subpoena para sa mga bank accounts, BIR tax records, at Anti-Money Laundering Council o AMLC reports laban sa Vice Presidente sa kanyang kabiyak na si Attorney Man Scarpio, pati na sa mga kaugnay na kumpanya at law firm. Sa ilalim ng Article 2 ng impeachment complaint, inakusahan ng prosecution ng Vice Presidente hinggil sa di umano'y unexplained wealth, kaya't iginigit nila na kinakailangang mabuksan at masuri ang kanyang mga pampinansyal na dokumento sa nakalipas na 20 taon. Dito pumasok sa eksena si Senator Judge Joel Villanueva upang humingi ng malinaw na klarifikasyon sa magkabilang panig hinggil sa legalidad, proseso at mismong evidentiary weight ng hihilinging subpoena. Tinanong ni Villanueva kung may pagkakaiba ba sa ilalim ng batas ang tinatawag na pampublikong paglabas ng impormasyon o public disclosure kumpara sa isang limited production of records na ibibigay lamang ng eksklusibo sa loob ng impeachment court. Ipinunto ng senador na bagamat mahalaga ang probisyon ng confidentiality bilang proteksyong legal, hindi rin naman daw ito dapat maging dahilan upang manatiling mailap ang pananagutan o accountability sa taong bayan. Hinimok din ni Villanueva ang depensa na sagutin kung maaari bang maglagay ang korte ng mga kinakailangang safeguards upang hindi maabuso ang mga pribadong record habang ginagawa ang pagdinig. Subalit hindi ito pinalampas ng depensa. Mabilis at direktang sinupalpal at binweltahan ni Attorney Michael Poa ang mga argumentong ito sa pamamagitan ng paghahain ng malalalim na batayang legal at probisyon ng saligang batas. Ipinaliwanag ni Attorney Poa na bagamat sumasang-ayon sila na magkaiba ang issue ng subpoena sa mismong admissibility o pagtanggap ng ebidensya sa korte, ang mismong pundasyon ng hiling na subpoena ng prosecution ang may malaking kakulangan. Inihayag ng abogado na ang anumang subpoena ay dapat na sumusunod sa mga batayang pamantayan ng batas, partikular ang pagiging tiyak o definiteness at ang kaugnayan o relevance nito sa kaso. Binigyang diin ni Attorney Poa na ang ginagawang pangkalahatang paghiling ng prosecution sa halos 2 dekadang record sa bangko at buwis ng Vice Presidente ay walang iba kundi isang malinaw na fishing expedition. Ayon sa depensa, naghain ng prosekusyon ng reklamo ukol sa unexplained wealth nang walang kalakip na kahit anong konkretong ebidensya o batayang pangkasaysayan mula pa noong nasa House Committee on Justice ang proseso. At ngayon daw na nasa gitna na ng impeachment trial, tsaka pa lamang magkakamahandog ang kabilang panig na manggagalugad at maghanap ng anumang maipipintas o maipaparatang kapag nabuksan na ang mga pribadong pampinansyal na dokumento. Ibinahagi rin ni Attorney Poa ang pagkakahawig ng subpoena sa isang search warrant. Ipinaalala niya na sa ilalim ng constitutional standards, ang isang subpoena o search warrant ay kinakailangang partikular na naglalarawan sa mga bagay na hinihiling. Sa halip na maging tiyak, halos lahat na raw ng transaksyon mula pa noong hindi pa man impeachable officer ang Vice Presidente ay gustong kalkalin ng prosecution ng walang sapat na factual basis. Bukod pa rito, idiniin ng abogado ng depensa ang probisyon ng Section 8A ng Anti-Money Laundering Act o AMLA. Ayon kay Attorney Poa, ang probisyong ito ay nagtataguyod ng tinatawag na absolute prohibition o pangkalahatang pagbabawal sa paglalabas ng mga confidential AMLC records kung walang kaukulang exception sa ilalim ng batas. Ipinahayag niya na kapag pilit na naglabas ang impeachment court ng subpoena para sa AMLC records, para na rin itong pinipilit at inuutusan ng mga opisyal na labagin ang mismong probisyon ng batas. Ginamit din ng depensa ang argumento ukol sa Bill of Rights at due process na nakasaad sa ating saligang batas. Inihayag ni Attorney Poa na bagamat ang impeachment court ay isang makapangyarihang constitutional body, wala pa rin itong kapangyarihang lumapaw o yumukod sa mga karapatang pantao at karapatan sa due process na ginagarantiyahan ng institusyon para sa bawat mamamayan. Nilinaw ng depensa na hindi sila laban sa prinsipyo ng transparency at accountability sa pamahalaan, subalit hindi ibig sabihin nito ay kailangan ng isang tabi o baliwalain ng mga batayang karapatang sibil at legal na proteksyon ng isang individual. Sa kabila naman ng mga argumento ng depensa, ipinaliwanag ng presiding officer na si Senate President Francis Escudero na ang pagpapalabas ng subpoena ay isang paunang hakbang o preliminary and procedural ruling lamang at hindi pa ito nangangahulugan ng automatikong pagtanggap sa mga dokumento bilang direktang ebidensya sa pagdinig. Nagdesisyon ng impeachment court na aprubahan ang pagpapalabas ng subpoena para sa ilang bank records at tax documents sa ilalim ng probisyong dapat itong isumite ng maayos sa clerk of court. Ang ganitong uri ng matinding debate sa pagitan ni Senator Judge Joel Villanueva at ni Attorney Michael Poa ay nagpapakita lamang ng napakalalim na banggaan ng dalawang magkaibang pananaw sa loob ng korte. Sa isang panig, naroon ang legislative at prosecutorial view na nagbibigay diin sa kahalagahan ng pagbubunyag ng katotohanan at accountability. Sa kabilang panig naman, naroon ang constitutional at defense view na nagpapaalala sa kahalagahan ng due process, partikularidad ng ebidensya, at ang mahigpit na pagsunod sa mga legal protections laban sa tinatawag na fishing expedition. Habang patuloy na gumugulong ang mga susunod na araw ng impeachment trial sa Senado, nananatiling nakatutok ang buong bansa sa bawat mosyon, argumento at desisyon ng impeachment court. Ang mahalaga sa mamamayang Pilipino ay ang patas na pag-iral ng hustisya, ang pagsunod sa probisyon ng saligang batas, at ang walang kinikilingang paghahanap sa katotohanan.
How should this apply to records sought through a subpoena issued by the impeachment court? Because as I read, Your Honor, Section 8-A, it imposes confidentiality, but it does not expressly create an absolute privilege against the subpoena. There is a distinction between an authorized disclosure and production pursuant to a lawful order of a constitutional body. So, again, my question, Your Honor, where exactly in Section 8A does it say that AMLA, AMLC, may refuse a lawful subpoena from this court, Your Honor?
Thank you for that question, Your Honor. Unang-una, sagutin ko lang po yung pretense ng inyong tanong. No? Sabi nyo, this is a constitutional body, hindi po ba? And as we all know, there is an old legal maxim that the spring cannot rise over the source. No? Ibig sabihin po nun, while the impeachment court is a constitutional creation, it cannot go up over and above the Constitution itself. And when we talk about the impeachment court under Article 11, we cannot read that in isolation. We have to also give due regard for all other provisions of the Constitution, specifically the Bill of Rights, kung saan due process no, ay isang bagay na nakatatak po doon at pinapakita doon ano bang ibig sabihin ng due process. Due process is, kasama po sa kalakip ng due process, ay ang bawat na nasasakdal ay meron ding pribilehiyo na maging maprotect o maproteksyonan ng mga batas na isinagawa ng mismong Kongreso. So now let's go on to Section 8A. No? As you can see, Your Honor, that is at least for our position, it's an absolute prohibition. Unlike other laws where they created, for example, in the Bank Secrecy Law, meron nakasulat doon, aaminin natin, in cases of impeachment is an exception. Pagdating po dyan, wala po ni isang exception. It could have been easy, especially since this is a 2021 amendment. No? It could have been easy for Congress to have cited impeachment as an exception if it did actually wish to do so. But it did not, Your Honor. And it is our position that if we were to compel and issue a subpoena against these AMLAC records, we're actually compelling the officials to violate this very section of the law. And that is why we are saying na pagdating sa 8A, absolute po yan. It does not say that there's any exception if any court processes are actually issued to compel the production of these documents. Precisely because ang nasa loob po kasi ng mga records ng AMLAC are intelligence. No? And that's why it's confidential. And once AMLAC determines that they find out that certain transactions are subject to money laundering or should be actually filed in court, the end result is the complaint itself and not the raw data. And that is why, Your Honors, as to the raw data or the information that they receive, yan po ay strictly confidential under 8A.
Thank you for that. Again, I would like to put on record that I was trying to look at that particular section 8A, and I don't see anything that says this court would not have any prerogative as to whether or not we can subpoena bank records. But let me move forward. Perhaps this could be my last question, Your Honor, Mr. Presiding Officer. The Constitution recognizes two equally important principles: confidentiality on one hand, and the freedom of information, which promotes transparency and public accountability on the other. So, Attorney Powa, gusto ko lang pong malinawan for the benefit of this representation and our dear colleagues here, being senator judges, may legal distinction po ba between disclosure of information to the general public and the limited production of records solely to this impeachment court in the exercise of its constitutional function? Because we understand that the principle of freedom of information is rooted in transparency and public accountability, especially po when the conduct of a public officer is under constitutional scrutiny. Now, if confidentiality is the concern, would you agree, Attorney Powa, that this impeachment court can impose safeguards on the use and disclosure of the records? Kung maaari naman po na magpatupad ang impeachment court ng sapat po na safeguards upang mapanatili ang confidentiality ng mga records, bakit po dapat maging hadlang ang confidentiality sa isang impeachment court upang suriin ang mga impormasyon na maaari nga pong may kinalaman sa mga isyong nararapat nitong resolbahin bilang isang impeachment court?
Para sa atin po, no, kung ano man pong hakbang ang pwede o hindi pwedeng gawin ng isang impeachment court tulad ng nasa harap natin na ngayon, it must be confined to the limits imposed by the Constitution and the laws. No? So, kahit sabihin po natin, we are not against transparency. I just want to make that clear, Your Honors. We are not against accountability. But again, as I've mentioned last week, hindi naman porket po that we are all looking for accountability ay transparency, ay isasantabi na lang po natin kung ano ang mga karapatan, hindi lang para sa impeachable officer, pero para kahit sinong Pilipino na nakasaad sa batas, including absolute confidentiality in terms of AMLAC reports, which we are pointing to. So para po sa atin, nakikita ko yung punto po ng ating hukom, no, na paano kung mag-impose na lang tayo ng certain conditions. However, Your Honors, those certain conditions may be allowed for other records, pero pagdating sa AMLAC po, absolute po kasi yung prohibition. And if we were to amend or at least suspend the provision of 8A, then it is as if this honorable court is actually doing some sort of judicial legislation, no? Because we are technically suspending this law for a specific person na hindi natin pwedeng gawin sa iba. That is why, ang sa akin lang po, ang sa amin, sa punto ng depensa, is paano po yun? Meron po bang instances na papayagan na lang natin, isang tabi natin yung batas? At merong instances na hindi. I think, Your Honors, we feel, the defense feels, Your Honors, that in the search for truth, transparency, accountability, we must still work within a framework, which means that we must work within the limits imposed by the Constitution, the laws, and the rules of the land. Yun lang po, Your Honors.
Salamat po, Attorney. Mr. Presiding Officer, just a few seconds, just to put on record, ang Senado po ay nasa plenaryo na po yung proposed Bright Act natin na maraming sumuportang mga kasamahan natin. And ito kasama po dito yung amendments to AMLA to put in black and white the circumstances under which bank records, financial transactions may be lawfully accessed by competent authorities, subject always, of course, Mr. President, to appropriate safeguards and due process. So gusto ko lang pong banggitin that indeed confidentiality is an important legal protection, pero hindi din po ito dapat maging dahilan naman para manatiling mailap po ang pananagutan. Ang mabuting batas ay kayang pangalagaan ang privacy nang hindi po nasasakripisyo ang accountability. Our laws must be able to protect both, Mr. President, Mr. Presiding Officer. Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo. Maraming salamat po, our counsel. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Judge Villanueva. Your remarks and responses thereto are duly noted and entered into the records. Senator Judge Pia Cayetano is next, I believe. You may proceed, ma'am, when you're ready.
Hindi na ako maka...
I'm ready to proceed, Mr. Presiding Officer. I'd like to start this discussion with a question that hopefully will allow our kababayans who are watching, listening, to understand the situation. Of course, I pose it also to the parties. If the government had in mind that there's a business, and of course, a particular businessman or businesswoman who is violating a lot of laws pertaining to the operation of their business, be it customs law, BIR, regulations, can they just proceed and pwede ba silang basta na lang mag-request ng dokumento o mag-file ng kaso na requiring the businessman and the corporation to produce those documents? Pwede ba? So yun ang pag-isipan natin, no? Kasi yun ang tanong eh. Similarly, ginagawan ko lang ng ibang analogy para maintindihan mga kababayan natin. So this is the essence, dear colleagues, parties, of the principle of due process. This is ingrained in our Constitution. Totoo po na may karapatan ang gobyerno at obligasyon ng gobyernong patakbuhin ng maayos ang gobyerno, but it is always with due respect to the rights of every individual Filipino. That is the right to life, liberty, and property. So bago mo sagasaan yung right to life, liberty, and property, siguraduhin mo lang na may basehan ka. Yun lang naman ang sabi. So of course, ako, gusto ko talaga na maayos ang patakbo ng gobyerno para if somebody's life is also in danger, then government has to step up and prevent somebody's liberty. Kasi nga, sinasagasaan niya yung life and liberty ng ibang tao. So it's a balance, no? I think we can all agree it's a balance. So I want to go straight into a landmark case and I will ask both parties for their legal opinions on it kasi it is a legal proceeding. Pero gawin nyo lang simple para hindi masyado complicated para sa mga nakikinig sa atin. So in the landmark case of Stonehill versus Diokno, 1967 pa po to, karamihan ng mga lawyers hindi pa pinapanganak. The importance of due process was highlighted and the Supreme Court discussed 2 points. General warrants are void. Sabi ng Supreme Court, a warrant must be issued on probable cause for one specific offense and must particularly describe the thing being seized. So kailangan particular ang description dun sa warrant. Warrants that leave it to the discretion of the officers serving them to decide what to seize or general warrants are outlawed by the Constitution because they place the sanctity of the home and privacy at the mercy of prosecutors. So sinabi dito na kailangan specific. Take note warrant ito ha. So pina naman ang pinag-uusapan natin. Alam ko po yun. Pero I'm pointing it out kasi ang magiging tanong ko later on is kung relevant ito sa kaso. Okay? The other principle that was established in Stonehill versus Diokno was the exclusionary rule. Evidence obtained through an unconstitutional search is inadmissible for any purpose in any proceeding. Ito po yung tinatawag na the fruit of the poison tree. Pag nakuha mo yung information dun sa bawal na paraan, kung ano yung information mo, bawal ipakita yon. And this is where I need to get guidance from the presiding officer. If I'm allowed, I don't have to name names, to share the discussion that we had in caucus para lang mabanggit ko na ito yung mga provisions of law na napag-usapan. Am I allowed to do that? Would you like me to approach you? Please let me know because I will abide. Basically, because ang nangyari is we had our own discussion and I want to mention the provisions of law that we discussed. I don't have to mention names.
The lady may proceed.
Okay, thank you. So, tungkol dito sa exclusionary rule, ulitin ko, fruits of the poison tree, dun nga sa aming very open discussion, and I thank many of our colleagues who were I think we engaged in a fruitful discussion for some, not for all. I think yung iba talagang gustong makipag-debate at di-debate kasi gusto ko rin matuto, no? I think all of you will attest na I also wanted to learn from all of you kung anong perceptions nyo sa batas, kung ano din yung sinasabi ng mga abogado nyo. So dun sa Fruits of the Poison Tree, sabi ko, kung yung pinanggalingan ng mga dokumento bawal na kunin ng basta-basta, then paano mo gagamitin? And meron kasing observation na lumabas na kasi yung documents na yon sa House. So nakita na ng publiko sa House. So sabi ko, pero if I will look at, and this is where I will pose the question to all of you, no? Medyo layered so pasensya na sa medyo complicated. Yung isang concern ng defense na nabasa ko is that hindi nag-allege ng ultimate facts. Hindi klaro kung ano yung naging kasalanan at hindi na-identify ng maayos itong facts na to that lead to a conclusion of law. So, wala daw yun. Later on, I will ask both parties again to also clarify that. But the point is, kung walang basihan yung paglabas ng ebidensya na yon, it is the fruit of the poison tree, then you cannot use it. So yun yung importante dito kasi I'm sure nakita nyo no sa korte kahit sabihin nyo pong sa mga legal drama na na-throw out, the case is thrown out because na-violate ang due process. So that's the discussion I want to have. I want to hear both ha. Wala akong kinikilingan dito. I'm just explaining na yun yung argument ng defense na walang due process, kulang at why prosecution would you say na nasusunod yung due process. And before I give the floor to the parties, yung sinabi kong kaso na Stonehill versus Diokno, very interestingly, involves the esteemed father of our colleague, Congressman Prosecutor Chel Diokno. In the case of Stonehill versus Diokno, the father of Congressman Diokno was the Secretary of Justice. And in this case, the government, through the Secretary and other prosecutors, suspected that Harry Stonehill and his associates and several corporations that they controlled were violating central bank laws, tariff and customs laws, Internal Revenue Code, and the Revised Penal Code. So nag-request sila ng issuance of search warrant. At ang gusto nilang tingnan is books of accounts, financial records, vouchers, receipts, ledgers, etc., and other documents showing all the business transactions. Stonehill and the other petitioners filed a petition before the Supreme Court arguing that the search warrants were general warrants because they did not particularly describe the things to be seized. So, general pa pala yun. Books of accounts, financial records, receipts, general pa pala yun. And the Supreme Court ruled that indeed, general warrants are void. Warrants must be based on probable cause. Nasabi ko na yun, ano? And then the case also adopted the exclusionary rule, holding that evidence seized under an unconstitutional warrant is inadmissible. So, I now pose my questions. Applicable po ba ang kaso na ito, Hill versus Diokno, as far as the prosecution is concerned, and then also for the defense, applicable? Take note, I've read most of the pleadings, well, all of the pleadings, mahahaba sila. I kinda know your answer, but sa dami, I like to hear it again, and I think, of course, karamihan ng kababayan natin did not read it. So explain natin sa kanila, because this is a landmark case. Kung ikaw ay law student na magbabar, ito yung mga kasong titingnan mo. So malay mo, matanong yan sa bar. So nakatulong man lang tayo dun sa mga bar students na maliwanagan sila. Baka mamaya trick question to. Is it applicable or not? That is my question. I will sit down and then I will come back for my next. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. If I may be recognized.
The member of the panel of prosecutors may proceed to give his answer. Thereafter, the counsel for respondent may do so as well.
Iba po ang konteksto ng search warrant na naging main issue sa Stonehill versus Diokno. Sa konteksto po natin na sa PINA ang pinag-uusapan. Ang search warrant po, ang governing law po dyan ay nasa Bill of Rights natin, Article 3, Section 3. At kaya siya nandun dahil very invasive po ang search warrant. pag ang isang judge ay nag-issue ng search warrant, pwedeng pasukin yung opisina o yung bahay ng person involved, pwedeng halongkatin yung lahat ng mga gamit niya doon sa kanyang opisina o sa kanyang bahay. Kaya po naglagay ng maraming limitasyon ang ating konstitusyon dahil marami ng pang-aabuso, marami ng mga halimbawa ng pang-aabuso na nangyari kahit noon.
Ang posisyon po ng depensa dito ay subpoena and a search warrant are very much similar in that both are compulsory processes. No? So, yes, hindi tayo papasok sa bahay ng isang tao o ng nasasakdal, but it will be intrusive because we will be opening up all the financial transactions for, sabi nga dito, almost 20 years of the respondent. Kaya po, katulad ng isang search warrant, the things that we are asking for through a subpoena must be particularly described. Kanina po, nabanggit po ng aking kagalang-galang na opposing counsel na particularly described na po yung kanilang naisulat. However, the defense does not agree with that proposition because if you look at it, tama naman po, nakasulat po dito ng hinihingi nila ay account opening and maintenance records, KYC documents, information files, signature cards, all account and transaction records, ledgers, journals. Basically, Your Honors, this is everything.
At dyan nagtatapos ang usapan natin ngayon. Kung may gusto kang idagdag o reaksyon, i-comment mo lang sa baba. Boses mo'y mahalaga. Huwag kalimutang i-like, share, at subscribe para sama-sama nating palakasin ang tinig ng bayan. Hanggang sa susunod, tandaan, ang may alam, may laban!
Awesome!